Hey everybody, this was a fun game where I went down material in the opening with some gambits, but it paid off as I was able to draw out my opponent's king. I'm playing the white pieces, I play the bishop's opening. Unfortunately, he takes with the pawn. It's much more fun for me when they take with the knight, but I don't panic because I like this variation. Now I'm down material, but I have much more solid control of the center than my opponent does. We do some basic development here. And my basic idea with this attack is I'm going to try and grab this pawn to recover material and also fork his queen and king and just generally mess up his king side. Instead, he plays this counterattack though, which is pretty clever because he's attacking my undefended bishop. He is defending the whole attack that I was going for here, but I throw this queen attack which pins his knight. So now he can no longer grab this bishop, even if the queen wasn't defending it, just because of the pin. And also he still has to address this attack from before. He does so by breaking the pin, so now I have to watch out for this bishop, and my attack feels pretty blunted and I'm down material, but I decide to just double down anyway, and I sacrifice the bishop, and at this point, he cannot castle anymore, but he is up 4 points in material, which is pretty significant. This looks like a passive castling move on my part, but it's really an attacking move because I'm trying to set up my rook on the e-file here because I know he can't run away super easily, like he can't castle to get out. It does look though with this move like he's trying to set up a pseudo castle where he'll bring his king to safety on g8 and it'll almost look like he just castled organically. But I prevent that by bringing this knight attack, because now if he brings his king back to the g8 square, I can throw a check by grabbing this free bishop, because once his king moves, it's going to only be his queen defending the bishop. He sees that and he plays this rook move, both defending this bishop but also setting up a discovered attack on my queen if he moves his bishop on the next turn. So I throw a check with the thought that I just wanted to break the pin as soon as possible. And I thought he would kind of just retreat into these squares, but instead he pins himself, and that feels like a mistake because I'm able to bring in my bishop to put extra pressure on this knight, so he really can't move it. He tries to kick my bishop, which I think was a mistake. I think he really should have just retreated his king and broken the pin. He's probably thinking I'm going to retreat my bishop to h4 and then he can push me out again. But the way I've been playing this whole round, I'm just going to triple down on the aggressiveness and do the exchange. And now I throw this check. And it really puts him in a decision point where if he tries to bring his king in here, it'll basically be pretty isolated king. Like it's going to be a little difficult for him to bring supporting pieces in to help himself. So if he doesn't do that though, he's going to start bringing his king into the center of the board where he doesn't have as many escape squares to play. That's the option he decides to go for. And at this stage, I'm tempted to throw a check by bringing my rook onto the e-file like I wanted to from before, because, my knight is defended by my queen. And as long as I'm cutting off his retreat squares here with my queen, it'll force him over to d7. But then I look at it this way, where if I throw the check with my knight first, he still only has one retreat square where he's forced to go to. And then if I follow up like this, the way his pieces are set up, he can't really block me with anything. So I'm going to keep forcing him out of safety and into the center of the board. That's where he goes, I need to be a little bit careful going forward here because now he's got this discovered attack on my queen, but I bring in my other rook, forcing him deeper into the wilderness, and now when I throw this check with my knight, he can't, come attack my knight through here, so he's really resigned to only going to a few squares over this direction. And I still need to be careful that my queen, I don't just drop a queen here. So I throw check, and he defends like this, which I get the thinking, but it's pretty weak because I can just bring my rook down this way, and it really limits him either going to this square, in which case I think it's forced mate if I bring my queen over to a3, or retreating over to the b7 square, which is what he does, but that's also forced mate when I grab the pawn. Anyway, I just thought it was a fun game that I went down 4 points of material, but I was able to keep up the tempos in the attack and force my opponent's king into a really bad position and eventually checkmate. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of this game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.